Hi, Chris and Tiersa LeSueur from the Preferred Experience podcast. This is episode 21. This is a podcast that is all about helping you move forward in life, whether it be in the gym, nutritionally, in your day-to-day life, any of those areas. We want to help you keep moving forward. Today we have Tiersa joining us for the podcast, and she is going to go over macro questions. Like, we're going to have a little Q&A on macro questions that we've had. We just started our 6-week nutrition challenge last week, so we're about a week and a half in at this point. And we just kind of compiled the questions we've had over the last week and thought it would help those that are trying to improve their nutrition move forward. So let's go over the questions.
Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us today. So I get a lot of questions, and I just figured the best place to answer these is Facebook. Being able to reach a lot of people, whether you come to CrossFit Preferred or not. Hopefully this helps you. If you have any, desire to maybe try macro tracking, hopefully I can answer some of your questions and kind of push you towards trying it out. So first of all, the most common question I get is counting macros hard? And I guess that's a relative question, but today I asked my team, our nutrition team that we have going on, I asked them if they could ask me what would it be. And one of them was, one thing that they said is that I really thought that tracking macros would be hard because I hate tracking calories, but it actually is very simple. And this is why. The reason is because it's not any harder than scanning a food label. So using MyFitnessPal is what we use to track macros or track calories. It's my preferred method of tracking. All you have to do, MyFitnessPal is so user-friendly once you kind of learn all the things it can do. But all you have to do is scan the back of the barcode on the foods that you're eating, and it'll automatically pop up with the correct item and the correct serving size. So it really makes it easy to track your food when you're using things that have a barcode. And things that don't have a barcode, all you have to do is, MyFitnessPal has such a huge database of information. So if you just type in, for example, like let's say you ate an apple. Apples are all different sizes. However, it's pretty simple to just throw an apple on a scale and then see how much it weighs, and then track the apple by the kind of apple it is. So if it's a Fuji apple, you would just type in Fuji apple. You'll see several options come up. Anything with a green check mark is going to be a certified correct item from MyFitnessPal. And so you just click that one and then add how many ounces or how many grams it was, and that's the best, most accurate way to do it. What if you don't have a food scale, though? How do you do it? Have you ever had that?
I was just going to say, sometimes I'm not near a scale, so what I'll do is just choose what I think it is. Now, I've been tracking for a little while, so it's a little easier for me to do that. But even if you don't know, it kind of puts in an average size.
Yeah, it'll say like a medium apple.
Yeah, it'll give you an idea.
So you can kind of guesstimate. I mean, the whole purpose behind tracking macros is not to track for the rest of your life, but to teach you how to identify your foods as protein, carbs, or fat, and also to be able to identify portion sizes. So if you can identify portion sizes by tracking, it allows you to kind of get to a point where you can eyeball things and you're within a ballpark range. That's the whole purpose behind macro tracking. We're not, like you and I, we track when we have a specific purpose in mind. Right now, we are doing our 6-week nutrition challenge, so we're tracking. Mm-hmm. But because I've tracked in the past, I usually just mindfully eat, meaning I kind of know what serving sizes to eat. I kind of know what my snack should be, and I'm able to maintain my body weight or body fat percentage just by mindfully eating because I've tracked. And so that's why I feel so strongly about teaching people how to track. One of the other things that I love about macro tracking is that a lot of people, when they focus on weight loss, they think cut calories. Mm-hmm. Especially women, I've seen this. What happens is when you cut calories so much, you can only go so far. And if you're not careful, a lot of times you'll be eating under your BMR, which your BMR is how many calories you burn at rest. So if you were to do nothing and lay in bed all day long, you need a certain number of calories just to function, to stay alive. And when people tell me, oh, I'm eating 1,200 calories a day, I promise you that's not going to last. There's two things are going to happen. Either you're going to give up because you're too hungry, and then you're going to go back to what you were doing before, or over time, you're not going to be hungry anymore. So if you're waking up in the morning and you're not hungry till noon, that tells me your metabolism has slowed down and you're not burning calories as efficiently as you would be if you were eating more calories. So you start burning less calories throughout the day, and you're going to hit a plateau, and you're not going to be able to go beyond that. You're not going to be able to lose any more weight, and you're just going to go into that stage where we then have to reverse diet you and slowly increase your calories. Mm-hmm. I see that a lot in women and men that are in their mid to late 40s, usually men who maybe work a lot of hours and don't want to spend the time to stop and eat. That's really common. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people like that, and that would never happen with me. I'm hungry like mid-workout.
She might get a little angry if she didn't eat.
Oh, another question that just popped in my head. What about intermittent fasting? That's something that because I always teach, you want to eat first thing in the morning. A lot of people like to intermittent fast. That is totally a personal preference. I personally can't do it. I'm too hungry. I don't perform well when I work out. I work out in the morning, so I want to maximize muscle growth during that time. If I am not eating, then my muscles don't have the carbs, the energy to build. And so that is definitely a personal preference. And I can do another episode just on the intermittent fasting if there's interest there. But it's really up to you. If you are intermittent fasting and macro tracking, you're still going to get in that same amount of calories in a smaller window. So if you like to have big meals later in the day, try intermittent fasting. It might work well for you.
It works well for a lot of people.
Yeah,
like it.
There's several people at our gym
we
that
don't
like
love
it.
I
get not very nice when I'm hungry, so it doesn't work well for me.
But working out at like 5, 6 in the morning, I've tried it, and I don't feel the same. I don't feel like I can do
I definitely
as well.
feel flat. Yeah, It's a lot harder for me to have good energy.
So I'd rather have energy when I'm working out.
So another question I get asked is, why is tracking macros better than just tracking calories? So what we do here at CrossFit Preferred is, if you do a nutrition consult with me, we put you on our InBody scanner, and that tells us how much muscle mass and fat mass you have. And our goal is to help you decrease fat and increase muscle at the same time. Macros is, in my opinion, the best way to do that. And the reason is because instead of focusing just on calories, we're focusing on getting the right percentage of our macronutrients. Every macronutrient, protein, carb, and fat, has a specific purpose. We want to make sure we're getting the right percentage of those so that we're not breaking down muscle for protein. If we're not eating enough protein, our body needs that, so it's going to break down muscle. We want to make sure that we're giving our body enough carbs to build muscle, and so we need to know what we can handle. And then the fat is going to help us overall feel better, feel more full, feel more satisfied, help with brain function, all of that. So it's important to know that each of those macronutrients has a very specific job. And if we're not getting enough of it, we're just not going to feel as good. We're not going to get results as fast. So we want to make sure that we're getting in what our body needs. Now, everybody's different. And there's a little bit of trial and error that comes with starting a macro plan. You have to figure out how sensitive is your body to carbohydrates, how sensitive is your body to fat. We need to be able to kind of play with that a little bit, and I can teach you guys how to do that as well. The other question I get is, how do I get in enough protein? Some of you that are just starting to track macros, I know that's a common thing. If you haven't tracked before, protein tends to be the one that is hard to hit. I have no problem hitting my protein. In fact, sometimes I have a hard time not going over it. But I have trained myself to think protein-led. So every time I eat, I think, okay, what's my protein? Once I figured out what my protein is for either my snack or my meal, I then can build the rest of my plate by adding a fat and a carb. So a couple ways to start with getting in a good amount of protein is I always start my day off right after my workout with a protein shake. The Driven Whey protein is my favorite. It tastes really good. It has about 26 grams of protein in it, and it's an easy way to get it in real quick right after your workout. Then throughout my day, I always again say what's my protein. So like my first snack of the day is usually either cottage cheese with vegetables or fruit with it, or Greek yogurt. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of protein powder to my Greek yogurt. I like to snack on turkey jerky. What are some of the other things? Low-fat cheese is high in protein, boiled eggs. And then for lunch and dinner, I always have like some kind of, I'll either do like deli meat for lunch, or I'll do, if I have cooked meat in the fridge, I'll do that. If you're not a big meat person, there's plenty of other ways to get protein in. I suggest tracking it so you can see that if you're getting protein from a non-animal source, there's going to be a lot of carbs and fat with that too. And so you just need to be aware of that and know that you're going to have carbs and fat from that as well, which is totally fine. But yeah, you can definitely do that. So I remember when I first started tracking macros, it was a little overwhelming. I felt like I had to really plan before I could even eat breakfast. And so that's one of my biggest tips that I give to my nutrition clients is planning the day before. So going into my FitnessPal, I always start with dinner. Put in your dinner first, because the worst thing to me is to be at the end of my day and feel hungry and not know and not be able to eat anything because I've already used all my macros. In fact, you had a question. So somebody asked, well, how do I get in my protein and not go over my fat, right? You had somebody ask you that.
Yep.
If your people plan the night before, it'll take that away. If they know what they're going to eat the day before, it takes out all the guesswork. And not only that, but another thing that I hear is I don't have time to track. Well, if you're planning the day before, you just freed up a ton of time in your day. You now know exactly what you're going to eat, and there's no guessing. There's no like trying to figure it out or sitting there trying to enter things into my FitnessPal. You already know what you're going to eat, and that saved me a couple years ago when we were selling our house and moving. That was the only way I could do it, is I would plan the day before, and because I was so busy trying to get our house ready, I made sure that I planned the day before.
Yeah.
And I would start with dinner, then I would go to breakfast, because my breakfast is almost always the same. Lunch was usually leftovers of what I had the night before, and then I use my snacks as fillers.
One thing I think it's kind of like, we come in here to the gym and we have a workout plan for us, and we don't even have to think about it. And when you have your food planned the night before, you know exactly what you're going to have. And it actually could save you time, because you don't have to think about, oh, what am I going to go get for lunch? What am I going to, you have it going good. So.
And there is going to be times where you can't plan, or you're traveling, or you don't have control over what restaurant you guys eat at or whatever. And in that situation, macro tracking helps you be able to categorize your food. And so when you do go eat out, you can easily say, okay, this is my fat, this is my carb, this is my protein. One of the places that we really like to go to when we are busy or we don't have a plan for our lunch is we'll hit up Salad and Go. Salad and Go has their calories on there. They don't have it broken down into macros.
They do on their website.
Do they? Okay, that's awesome.
Yep.
So we will go there, and but like, let's say one of my favorite salads there is the jalapeno ranch. I think jalapeno.
Yeah, you like that one. I like the buffalo chicken.
Well, I like that one too. So when I get the jalapeno ranch, I know what's fat, what's protein, what's carbs in there. So usually salads have a lot of fat. So I can easily take something off to eliminate some of the fat. The dressing, for example, is almost all fat and carbs. So I'll use my own dressing. We like the Bolthouse Farms. I'll take it home and I'll put my the Salsa Ranch Bolthouse Farms on it instead of their Salsa Ranch or whatever it is.
And their dressing's really good, but we've just found that the calories are a little lower, the macros are a little lower on our Bolthouse that we use. Another
option is use half the dressing if you don't have another option. I think it's caprese salad or something like that. It has so much in it that I actually don't need any dressing. There's so much flavor on the stuff that's in
tasty.
there. So just being aware of a couple different places that you can stop at to get a healthier version of lunch or dinner so that you're not completely blowing your day.
I do Chipotle or Salad and Go normally.
Yeah, Chipotle.
Chop shop sometimes.
You can build your food on Chipotle's website and see exactly what the macros are. So my suggestion is to start slow. Start by just putting in food. Don't worry about weighing and measuring. Just put in your day into MyFitnessPal. Once that starts getting a little bit easier, because it's already going to track the macros for you. Once that gets easy, then start actually trying to measure or weigh your food and see how close you're getting to your macros. And then from there, you can make little adjustments. But it's not an all-in or all-out type situation. Just start slow. Push yourself just right outside your comfort zone. Learn as you go. And then I promise you guys are going to love the results that you see. I know I do. It actually really gives me a lot of freedom to eat what I want. Last night we had hamburgers and French fries for dinner. I just have to kind of figure out what's worth having and what's not. So to me, turkey burger is the way to go because I don't want all the fat from the meat. The French fries, they're sweet potato fries. I just have a few of them and they're baked. And then I made a huge veggie tray, so I'm still getting other things and lots of sometimes it's just the act of snacking, that you like.
Yeah,
and
you
so,
start to miss that.
So just having a variety of things, it allows me to eat dinner with my family and to kind of forces me to cook a little healthier for my family as well. So I actually really enjoy that macro mindset. It doesn't always have to be tracking, but I have that macro mindset a lot. So that's pretty much all I have. Hopefully that helps you guys to kind of get curious about it and maybe try it out or come talk to me about it or ask me other questions because I'm happy to help. I know it can seem overwhelming at first, but it's really not. It's awesome.
Yeah, you'll get great results with it. And I think at a very minimum, if you're just going to start slow with it using MyFitnessPal, I think it's really good to just start tracking and seeing what's in different things. I had someone on my team, my nutrition team, tell me last week that some chicken that he had over 30 grams of fat in it.
Was it chicken thighs?
It was chicken thighs
Yeah.
and something crazy, but it was really high.
Yeah.
And so that he never realized that, and now he does. So you just start to gain some really good knowledge with it. Some things I wish I never knew, like some of the restaurants that we go to, that we used to go to more, I put in some different things and I was very surprised. So I think just getting that knowledge will really help you move forward. So lots of good things you shared today. Thanks for being on here.
Of course.
It's been a lot of fun. And thanks a lot. I think this may have posted to my personal Facebook page.
So you'll have to share it.
Hi, friends. But we'll get it on our other sites soon.
Awesome.
Thanks a
guys.
lot.
Bye.
You can also listen to this on YouTube, on podcast channel, so any podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, any of those. So if you found something good in this today that would help any family or friends, please share it. And we sure appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Have
Bye.
a great week, and we'll see you later.